Hey y'all, welcome back to Fish and Chips Mama. Today's episode is going to talk about clutter, cleaning, and orderliness and how that all affects my stress level and how overwhelmed I get. I really struggle with keeping things neat and clean and those sorts of things. So I'm going to really touch on that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. The first part of the video, you really get a sense of my inability to kind of process things when I'm overwhelmed and stressed. And then the latter half of the video, I'll go into more of me talking about stress and anxiety and overwhelm and how each one of those things are actually different. So hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. Hey. Okay, so this morning I woke up and everything, like, it felt good. Like, I was tired, but I felt good. And then for some reason, things just like went topsy-turvy. So I walked into the kitchen to get my pump so that I could finish pumping, and when I walked into the kitchen I realized, okay, well, I need to make formula for the day. And then I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing today, so I need to go get my planner. And so I walked back into the living room to get my planner, and then I walked back into the kitchen. I was like, okay, well, I need to clean the bottles that are dirty, so I need to put them in the dishwasher. And then I was like, well, okay, well, now I need to unload the dishwasher. And then, oh, and of course there is one of the babies. I'll be back. Okay. Now I don't remember where I was. Okay, so then, so like I had to clean the dishes or clean the bottles. And at this point, I still had not put my pump on, like, to pump. So I think it took me about 10 minutes to do everything that I kept finding that I needed to do before I actually put my pump on. And in between all of that, just like he's doing now, I had one of my babies crying. So like I'd have to go put his pacifier back in his mouth because that's what he's wanting right now. So after finally getting my pump on and sitting down at the dining room table to drink some coffee and to write out the things that are going on in my brain, kind of like a brain dump, I realized that I wanted to clean out my kitchen. So this is where I am at the moment. I have taken everything out of my china cabinet and I'm cleaning out my kitchen and all the cabinets because, let me tell you, the clutter and stuff is driving me nuts. Okay, so to recap, what you just saw was me trying to process some daily activities in my house. And it was basically me trying to get my pump ready so that I could pump. And in that process, I realized that I needed to do the dishes. And then I realized that I needed to figure out what I was doing for the day. And then my baby started crying and like all of these different things. And I couldn't even finish one task because I kept finding another task that I needed to complete. And that, in a sense, started to overwhelm me. And typically when I get overwhelmed, like, I can't process information. I can't process what I'm doing. And so one of two things typically happen for any given person. It's kind of that flight or fight mode, or freeze. Actually, they've actually added that third piece: fight, flight, or freeze. I have a tendency to freeze, meaning that I can't function. Like, I will just sit there and just be like, ugh. It's kind of what they call it, decision fatigue, or being indecisive on doing things. Like, you just can't make up your mind on like which task you want to complete, and that's me. And so to help me with that, I typically sit down and I start brain dumping or do a brain sweep. And I just kind of get everything that I'm thinking or have been thinking, or my to-dos, and I just write it all down. Doesn't matter, there's no order to it. I just write it down. And then from that, I'll typically make a to-do list, or like, oh, okay, like this is making more sense. Well, on this particular day, on what you saw, I started cleaning out my kitchen because I was sitting at my dining room table and I just was looking around like my dining room and my kitchen, and I was like, there's too much stuff, like, and it's overwhelming to me. And so I told my husband I woke up and I chose violence, and I chose violence against my kitchen. But I literally pulled everything out of the china cabinet. I pulled I pulled stuff out of the kitchen cabinets, I pulled stuff out of the drawers, and my husband was helping me do all this. And we got rid of some stuff, we took some stuff to Goodwill. Anyways, so I knew that we had duplicates of things, and I knew we had things that we just weren't using. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get this done. And honestly, like, in the video you saw the chaos of my dining room table, and yes, like, it was overwhelming to me having all that stuff out, but like when I finally finished putting the kitchen back together and the dining room back together, like, I felt better. So I have a tendency to say clutter gives me anxiety. Clutter gives me anxiety, and I use the term anxiety because that's what I thought it was. But this actually dawned on me the other day that I've been using that term wrong or incorrectly. And as a therapist, I should know that. So I wanted to give some information about anxiety and overwhelm and stress. First, anxiety by definition is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, and it's typically geared towards an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. So in the psychiatry world, it's a mental condition characterized by excessive apprehensiveness about real or perceived threats, typically leading to avoidance behavior and often physical symptoms such as increased heart rate, muscle tension, that sort of thing. So the part of anxiety that people kind of miss out on is that you have to think that there is either an actual threat happening or it's a perceived threat. So when I'm thinking about how I'm feeling in terms of clutter and in terms of like how that actually makes me feel, it's not anxiety. There's not a perceived threat. I'm not fearful that something bad is going to happen to me because there's clutter. What I'm actually feeling is overwhelm. And overwhelm is a byproduct of stress. So I was looking up some information about like the difference on the internet among the three things, and one of the websites I looked at gave a really good analogy, and it said it was talking about work. So it said you're stressed about your current work problem. So let's say you have a work problem, like a project that you're working on. You're stressed about all the things that you have to do for that project. That's stress. You're anxious about your overall job performance and like the future of your career. So that anxiousness is that fearfulness that there's a threat towards your future career and where your career is going. So you have stress, which is the things going on in the present, and the anxiety is that fear that something may or may not happen, or that possibility of a threat. The overwhelm is when that anxiety and that stress have just gone too far. So for me, I say that the kitchen clutter is causing me anxiety, but it's not anxiety. There's no perceived threat that I fear. Having 30 coffee cups is there's nothing threatening about 30 coffee cups, you know? The 30 coffee cups have actually caused me overwhelm. I'm already overwhelmed. I'm at the point of overwhelm. I don't have anxiety. I'm at the point of overwhelm. So what is the stressor? And the stressor is a matter to me, and like I really took a deep dive into this, of like having control. I feel like I need to have some sort of control over certain things. And in this stage of my life right now, taking care of twins, being a new mom, making the decision to not go back to work, all of these things just kind of seem out of my realm of control. And so I'm trying to put something back into my control. And so that's where keeping my house orderly and maintaining the clutter and those sorts of things kind of start to come into play. I also think part of that stressor is maintaining a image of cleanliness and orderliness. I grew up in a household that was by no means strict, or we maintained a house that was clean and orderly, and that was the expectation that my parents set for us. If we used a blanket from the back of the couch at the end of the night, or when we were getting ready, or when we finished using the blanket, it had to be folded and put back on the back of the couch. If we finished with something, we needed to put it away. So there was a sense of orderliness that we had to maintain in the house, and that was, that was, I don't want to say dictated, but it was expected of us, and it was something that my parents were particular about, and they've always been particular about a clean house, and so those were the expectations from my parents. And so there's that stressor of me maintaining that image, so that when my parents do come to my house, they're kind of proud of me for maintaining that. But here's the thing, my parents literally live across the country from me. I've been gone from the South for almost a year now, and I've seen my parents twice in that year. I miss them dearly, and I'm used to seeing them once a month, but there is no, they're not here. They're not coming almost every other weekend to come look at my house. And plus, I'm an adult. It's my house. Who cares? But it's still that idea of maintaining that image. Those are the kind of the stressors that I've identified so far. And those are stressors that I've put on myself. The maintaining an image of orderliness and cleanliness, and keeping a sense of control in my life. So again, those are my two stressors, and those have built, when those stressors get to be too much, it causes me overwhelm, and that's where I get to that freeze mode, where I can't think, where I can't function, where I'm indecisive on which chore I want to do, or on which thing I want to tackle. And so then I get to the point where I start cleaning out. I start throwing away things. I start organizing. And so a couple years ago, I noticed that I started doing that. I started cleaning out a lot. And so I started living by the motto, if it's not beautiful or if I don't find it useful, then it doesn't belong in my house. And I've really tried to maintain that thought process, to keep the clutter and the excess down. It used to be, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to keep this and hold on to it just in case I need it in the future. And so then I found myself with an apartment full of crap, that, something sat in the closet for 5 years and I never used it. But I only held on to it because I might use it in the future. Big might. So I started getting rid of things. My younger sister is very good about not keeping clutter in her house. She's not a minimalist by any means, but she's always talked about, she's I'm not as sentimental towards objects as me and my older sister are. And I've always admired that about her. I wish that I could be more sentimental or less sentimental about items. And so in that stage of, if I don't find it beautiful or I don't find it useful, if it's something that I'm questioning, I'll hold on to it for a little bit, and I'll keep it in the back of my mind, hey, this is something that I think I want to get rid of. I'm going to revisit this in a couple months. And usually in those couple of months, like, I'll be like, you know what? I don't think I really need this, and so I'll get rid of it. I will say that since my boys have been born, that sense of overwhelm with stuff has increased. And I don't know if it's from having to have more stuff in the house. And what I mean by stuff is, like, I now have baby stuff in the house. Like, we have 2 swings in our living room. We bought an ottoman to basically as a changing table for the living room. So we have 2 swings. There was a the bouncer's here in the office. We have a basket full of all their diapers and things we need to change diapers. We have another basket full of like little toys, so when I put them down for tummy time, it's right there in reach. And like, so I have my huge twin feeding pillow that looks like this big giant M. Like, there's that in the living room. We have 2 boppies. Like, we just have so much baby stuff, and like all of that in our tiny little living room with the dog crate and the cat tree and the recliners and the table and just everything else. Like, it's just a lot of stuff. And yes, we use the majority of it, and yes, it's useful and it's beautiful and that sort of thing, but I just still feel that sense of overwhelm, and I have to get rid of the things that we don't need to maintain that sense of order for me. Was finding that, you know, cleaning, and not just picking up, but cleaning the house was also something that needed to be done. And I've followed several different cleaning accounts, like on Instagram and stuff, and a lot of them have daily cleaning chores that they do. And so I decided to adopt this myself. And these are my reasons behind it. 1, this helps not spending the whole weekend cleaning the house. 2, I find that I stay on top of cleaning more. 3, I find that I actually clean more things. And what I mean by that, so like dusting, for example. In the past, I would dust like once every 2 months, and I would do it just, you know, once, and then like the next day I would notice, oh, I forgot to dust that, or I forgot to dust that, or I should have dusted that. Well, with this mentality, if I set dusting for like every Tuesday, then I find that like I'm catching all of those areas that I'm missing if I just dusted that once every 2 months or something. You know, maybe the desk doesn't need to be dusted every week, but it gets dusted, and I'm finding like the little things that I miss from the week before. So eventually everything gets dusted in the month, if that makes sense. The 4th thing is, when we actually move out of this rental house, cleaning the house won't be as big of an ordeal as when we moved out of the house in Pensacola, because we'll have maintained it over the course of our living here. My daily cleaning schedule, or daily chore schedule, is on Monday, I vacuum the floors and I mop. Now, we have a Shark, which is one of those robo vacuums that goes off every morning at 9 o'clock and actually vacuums the house because our golden retriever sheds a lot of hair. But I find that it, like, especially specifically on the carpet, like, or on our rugs, we have hard floors throughout the house, but on the rugs, it really doesn't get up the dog hair that well. So on Mondays, I do a detailed vacuum of the entire house. That includes vacuuming the chair, like our recliners, crevices that the Shark doesn't get, that sort of thing. And then I mop the floors. And that's been a good day. I actually enjoy doing that. I actually enjoy vacuuming, and I enjoy mopping. As weird as that might sound. I get satisfaction at looking at the the container of the vacuum cleaner and seeing how much crap and hair it's pulled up. Tuesday, I dust the house and also pick up the dog poop in the backyard. My theory behind the dog poop actually came from my husband. I had it on Wednesday, but he said if we do it on Tuesday, then it will go out with the garbage, which goes out on Wednesday morning. So smart man right there. Wednesday, wipe down all the appliances. So today is Wednesday, so the job is to wipe down all the appliances. And that's like cleaning inside the microwave, cleaning inside the fridge if I need to. Like my husband's smoking ribs today, and so he had the ribs sitting on a cookie sheet in the refrigerator. I'll probably go in and just spray it down with some antibacterial stuff. Thursday, clean the bathrooms. We have 2 bathrooms in the house. I've noticed that they don't both need to be cleaned on a weekly basis. So what I've decided, with just me and my husband using them, so what I decided is that one week we'll clean the master and the other week we'll clean the hall. And I've given each of us a bathroom. So my husband is supposed to clean the hall bathroom this week. I also dust the bathroom. Number one, for some reason, our bathroom gets so dusty. I think it's because there's no air circulation in the house because we don't have central heat and air. So it just gets super dusty. So I actually dust the bathroom on Tuesday, and then on Thursday, every other week, it'll get like a good scrub down. Fridays, mirrors and windows. We live in a house that was built in like the 1980s, and we have several floor-to-ceiling mirrors as closet doors. So those will get wiped down every other week, or one week I'll clean the inside of the windows, and the following week I clean the outside of the windows, the ones that I can reach. And that just kind of makes me feel better. I can look out and see the gloominess a little bit more clearly. Saturday is laundry. Now sometimes we have to run a load of laundry during the week, specifically like the baby stuff. Today we've gone through, I think, 2 or 3 different changing pads on the changing diaper apparatus thing. And yeah, that's to be expected. I have 2 11-week-old babies, but Saturday is laundry, and so like all the laundry gets washed and dried and folded. And I know there are some cleaning sites that they say do a load of laundry a day. I've thought about that, but I really, laundry is not my favorite thing. I hate folding clothes. It is stupid. I don't fold a lot of my clothes. I don't fold the boys' clothes, period, because I just think that that's a waste of time. I actually have a hanging shoe rack in their closet, and I just shove their clothes in the different slots, and that works fine for me. But I hate doing laundry, and so if I can just get it all done in one day, that'd be great. Anyway, so that's my cleaning schedule for the week. Sunday, I've decided to just do like the necessary things. So like loading the dishwasher, emptying the dishwasher, picking up the house, but I haven't really assigned a chore for that day of cleaning, a cleaning activity. Because, we do need rest. And part of my mindset behind this is I don't have a job where I leave the house. Daycare was really expensive up here, and I wasn't making enough money to afford daycare, so we decided that I would stay home. And so I've kind of set my mindset of like, this is my job. So from this time to this time, these are the things that are expected of me. This is my job. And then when my husband comes home and is home, he's very involved and very active in the household and the running of the household and with the boys. But doing this has helped me stay on top of being clean in the house and has helped minimize that overwhelm for me and that stress for me. And that's important, especially when my husband goes back to work here in the next few weeks, because I'll be taking care of the boys by myself for a good portion of the day. And that's going to be having a present mother who is not freezing in decision making and things like that is going to be really important for those boys. So that is my thoughts about clutter and stress and cleanliness and orderliness and overwhelm and how it all kind of relates back together. So my takeaway from this is, one, I'm going to stop calling it anxiety, because it is not anxiety. I do not have anxiety for my house not being clean. I am overwhelmed and stressed from that. The other takeaway is that I'm going to work on why I'm stressed about it. Like, why do I feel a need to maintain that sense of cleanliness and orderliness and that image of being clean and organized, beyond the fact of I just like doing it. So those are my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this segment on clutter, cleaning, and orderliness. And if you have any cool cleaning activities or ideas or organizing or orderliness or whatever, or you want to share your story, I'd love to hear it. Love to maybe incorporate some of the things that you guys do. So if you have questions, comments, make sure you leave them below. You can also comment or get in contact with me via my Instagram page, which is Fish and Chips Mama. So I will definitely see you guys next time. Bye.